Ninth person voted out, and the second member of our jury. Cole, it's 5, that's enough. Need to bring me your torch.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Australian Survivor Community Podcast. I'm your host Ryan Brink, here to bring you a new Survivor Heroes, Healers, Hustlers exit interview today with the second member of the jury, Cole Metters, and this chat you're about to hear is actually a really fun one, so stay tuned for this. Just a quick note, people have been asking me why is this exit interview so late this week? CBS was closed on Thursday and Friday. It's Thanksgiving in the United States, so it's the first opportunity that I and anyone really has had to have an exit interview, so stay tuned for that. And obviously this week, be warned that we have a double episode coming up, so 2 exit interviews coming up at the end of this week as well, so thank you for that. And a huge shout out to the patrons of the podcast who have been helping support me do this podcast, which is allowing me to do these US exits this year. So a huge thank you to those people. All right, here we go. Pressing play on my exit interview with US Survivor. So on the line, very excited. I am chatting to Survivor Cole Metters. Cole, how you going, mate?
Oh, it's going great. I'm excited to be on the show.
How have you recovered from Thanksgiving? I know that you're someone who loves 18,000 calories a day. How many calories did you consume on Thanksgiving?
Oh, well over that, probably 3 times or more. But yeah, I'm still recovering.
I'm incredibly envious. We don't have Thanksgiving in Australia, so I just watch vicariously on, but it's devastating. I just have to consume myself with some turkey. But onto the more important things. Survivor, Cole, I want to take you back to Tribal Council. You seem like you were almost a dead man walking in. Is that the feeling you had?
That is the complete feeling I had. You said it perfectly. I was 90% sure I was going home.
We saw in that episode at the Tribal Council, you're almost shrinking away. What were you thinking as that tribal was going on and Dr. Mike was going on this full barrage at that Tribal Council?
Yeah, we call that his Statue of Liberty speech. He just kept, at least in our group text at least, but he just kept going on and on and on. It was actually a lot longer than they showed on the show, but I was kind of hoping, okay, they're going to vote for Mike. Like, they might actually vote for Mike. So I was just trying to be quiet and not say anything, but Jeff broke that illusion for me.
Jeff, he's always intervening. But I have to ask you, did you have any knowledge that Mike was going to be doing this? Was this some kind of strategy that you were working together with? Because it was very confusing as a viewer when he's doing all of this, but then he ends up voting for you, and Joe also votes for you. So how do you feel about the guys ending up voting for you despite this show that they did?
Yeah, so I think Mike can be a little indecisive sometimes, and I think he had a couple of plans going on at the same time.
Yeah,
and ultimately decided to go with the one that sent me home because he didn't even need to play his idol.
No,
honestly. But we had talked before, and we had been in an alliance with each other, a final 2 kind of thing since the very beginning. And Mike basically came up to me and asked me for permission to vote for me. He said, "Well, if things go bad tonight, like, can I vote for you, and will you not be mad at me? And will you still vote for me to win this whole thing?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, you got it. I'm a sinking ship at this point. Get off while you can, and I still have your back."
That's really cool. This is later in the day. You've probably done like 1,000 of these. So word came out from one of the interviews you did about the fake idol. Can you talk a little bit about that at Tribal Council?
Yeah, so Mike does his entire speech, gets everyone worked up, and then to top it all off, he pulls out his idol, shows everyone, and then he pulls out a fake idol that he made from the tassels from the tribe flags that he had put together, and he hands that to Joe. And then at that point, everyone kind of looks around at each other and goes, "Okay, so we're still voting Cole, right?" And that's when I knew 100% I stood no chance.
That's incredibly hard. I guess during this whole game, Cole, you've been someone who's really done amazing at the challenges, did win an individual immunity. What was that feeling like when you won an individual immunity?
Oh, that's an incredible feeling because especially for me, I was so down. I thought I was going home for sure really soon.
Yeah.
And to win that challenge and kind of shatter these people's hopes that I was going up against, or I felt like were against me, that felt really good for that time. And I think I actually got a little overconfident in the next immunity challenge because I felt so good and I was so certain I could beat Lauren. And I don't know, you may have seen me, I blew like a kissy face to Ashley, and that was done sarcastically. And I think I made one more face, and my movement from that face actually knocked off my urn off the platform. So
it was hard. I feel like there was almost like this underdog support for you from a few people that I know, Cole, because I like the underdog, the person who's in the minority having that ability to come through. And you got so close, but I do want to ask you, at that immunity that you did lose, we saw Ben almost celebrate in your misery. What was the relationship like with Ben? Because he seemed to be someone who didn't quite like you that much.
So it all started back on the Yawa tribe, that middle tribe. Me and Ben started off okay, and then the extent of my food stealing was I took 2 bites of peanut butter, and that was it. No, whatever the show showed, that was all that I ate.
Yeah.
But I guess Ben noticed that little bit of peanut butter was missing, and I'd been catching fish for everyone every day, but I decided to eat a fish for myself to replenish the energy it takes to go spearfishing, which is a lot of energy to do that. That's how I rationalized it, at least in my mind.
Which is huge.
I don't think Ben appreciated that. And so going into the merge, Ben sort of went around and exaggerated the things I'd done and told everyone these things before I could get to them, and kind of turned everyone against me in a way. Even when I was cooking for everyone, he said that I was adding more rice than I should. So even when I was trying to be helpful, it was actually making it worse for me.
He wasn't happy that you came into the game absolutely ripped. He is that something, if you played again, like what have you taken from this? And Cole, I'm looking on Twitter and Instagram. I can see you're already back to like great fitness. So well done on that. But like, what lessons have you taken from the game if you played again? Would you go in with like a dad bod, try and get some weight on you first, get some fat?
See, I wish I could, because that would have made it such a more enjoyable experience. I would have avoided passing out. But I just cannot physically put weight on unless it's muscle mass. And if I ate really poorly, I would actually lose weight because it just wouldn't support my body.
I've got to ask you about wrestling Chrissy after that reward where you find out there is an idol clue. Can you talk about that experience and what that was like?
Yeah, so after I very stupidly go to the bathroom, I turn around and I see Chrissy digging like crazy, who was under the impression that Ryan did not finish finding the idol, so she was also trying to find it. And I fly across the beach, and later Chrissy tells me that she was terrified seeing me flying right at her.
Yeah.
And then so I start digging. She yells for JP. JP hilariously doesn't even budge. He just stands there with a blank expression on his face. And then Ben comes charging down the hill and slams into me. I think Chrissy turns around and jumps on my back and starts gagging me with my buff, and almost like riding me like a horse or a bull. And then I decide to kind of throw her off of me, stand up and act like I put the idol in my pants.
Yeah.
And at that point, Chrissy like grabs my belt and tries to pull my pants down.
This is the whole JP moment over again. This is Alan Ball style at this point. Balls to the wall.
Exactly. People and taking their pants off on this season is just getting ridiculous.
We did say that with the mooning as well. So it is a common trait. Before I do let you go, I have to ask about Jess. You had a great friendship with Jessica out there. Can you talk about what that was like to have someone who you felt like you could like intrinsically trust, and I guess how that went when you kind of broke that trust to a degree when you told people about the advantage and how that impacted that relationship?
Yeah, Survivor can be a very lonely game emotionally, where you don't have anyone to trust or count on.
Yeah.
And it definitely made it easier being out there, having Jess that she supported me and I could support her. And when I betrayed her trust, watching that back on TV was tough, because I saw how much it emotionally affected her. And I kind of detached the game from my emotions. Like, I separated the two in my head a little bit, but it seemed like that wasn't the case for her. And I felt really bad doing that. And I felt like it was never quite the same after that happened, even though we still enjoyed time with each other. Yeah, I didn't quite recover from that moment with her, I think.
Cole, thank you so much for chatting to me today. I know you won't be listening to our small little podcast from Australia, but you do genuinely have fans in us in Australia. So great to see you play. Love to see you play again, and all the best.
Yeah, I hope I do get to play again. Thank you so much. I had a great time.
See you, mate. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
All right, there you have it, my ex interview this week with US Survivor Cole Meadows, and someone who I think love him, hate him, you had a reaction to him, and I think that's really something that's important in Survivor. I love people who are characters and people who leave lasting memories and legacies, and Cole is definitely someone who's going to be remembered for some really fun and some quirky things as well. So, huge thank you to CBS and Channel 9 Australia for setting up these interviews, and also huge thank you to people who are listening to the podcast. If no one was listening to these podcasts, I wouldn't be making them. So huge shout out to you guys who are genuinely spending your time, 10 minutes listening to these, or the recaps, or the Australian Survivor long form interviews are still coming. And if there's other people you want me to talk to, just shout out, let me know. But huge shout out to everyone who's allowing me to do these. All right. Until next time, the community has spoken. I'll chat to you very soon. See ya. Bye.
Cole, the tribe has spoken.
Good luck, guys. Have fun out there.
Time for you to go.
Baby.
Good game, bud.
You too.